Yeah. Hi.
What's so funny?
I don't know. I was just thinking, how should I introduce this? But actually, I love this when I'm just looking at somebody and then like,
Yeah,
hi.
that's me.
Yo, guys, we're here in the rooftop in San Pedro, Monterrey, Mexico. The place to be. It's a little bit smoggy still outside, I guess, or foggy, or like a mixture. Doesn't matter. The girl who is sitting right now next to me is Natalie Healer, the superstar of the football team, international girls.
It.
Nah. Okay, let's say the captain. Are you actually the captain? I considered you always as the captain. To be honest.
Like I think the team did, but like officially Valeria is the captain.
Okay.
But she like never showed up. I think she was there for one game and that was it.
Okay. So it's the captain of the Football Rapido international girls football team, and that's how we get to know each other, actually, through football. The connecting thing, number one, in my world at least, and maybe in yours as well.
Yes, in mine as well.
So if you don't mind, tell us why in your world as well.
Soccer.
Football, please.
Football, why? Okay, like I don't know how did I come to I think I came to football because like I lived in a street with a lot of other children at like the same age as I am, and we always played soccer or football on the street. And like I remember always coming home with like bleeding all of my like my nails here, because I always kicked the ball like with the punta. And then like the father of my best friend, he's a football coach, and like there like in the team where I play now, there was only a which is called TSV Lust now.
Shout out TSV Lust.
Yes, woo! And there was only a boys team, and then like we came to him and said like, yeah, why isn't there a girls team? And so like I think it was me, Jule, like which is one of my best friends, who's one of my best friends.
Shout out Jule.
Yeah, Jule Kramer. Greetings to you. No. And then there another guy, I don't remember. Yeah, Jule Haug. Yeah, we three went to him, and then we told him that we want to open a girls team.
And you did in the end, right?
And we did, yes. And now actually it's really I'm really proud of that, because we started in this like club, the women's soccer. And so now there are like I think 5 teams. Like we have 2 teams, 2 women teams, and I think 3 youth teams, or how
like 3 youth girls teams in the end, right?
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Nice. Huh.
No, it's really and then we just started. Like I started playing with boys, and then like we told the coach to open a women's team or a girls team, and since then I play, I guess. And
you're still playing with boys, because when I met Natalie the first time, we were like just playing for fun, and we needed one person more to play 6 against 6. And Natalie was like, yeah, I want to play. And she was playing so good. Like there was no difference. Like the level was the same. And that was the first time I was like, man, this girl is dope though. It was cool. Every time we were like coaching the girls, like the last couple of weeks, Natalie was like the one that was always consistent and the leader and everything. And man, it made so fun, of course, because of you, and of course because of the others, like the whole team.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed it. Yeah, but we are here in Monterrey. Of course, we're playing football. But what are you doing actually in Monterrey, Natalie
What am I
Healer?
doing in Monterrey? I'm studying here, like all the other international students. I came here to do an exchange semester. Like actually I imagine it to be more Mexican, like because everything here feels so like American or so, I don't know.
Yeah, it's due to the fact that Monterrey is like in the north of Mexico, so
yeah, like I expected something different actually when I like suggested to come to Mexico. But yeah, I'm studying medicine here. That's why I came.
Thanks for answering the question.
Okay. Like I said, I'm good in talking. Like
that's okay. I'm fine with that. So if you want to talk the whole time, I'm really fine with that. So I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, and if it's interesting as well, would be nice.
I hope so.
No, it is definitely, because I mean, studying medicine, okay, but how is it like to study medicine here in Mexico? Because you're like combining it with kind of how do you say, not an internship, but you have to do some stuff in hospitals, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like I started, it was really like the beginning for me was really tough because I have to do 2 internships, and like I was hoping that the internships would be at the end of the semester so that I would just like be into the Spanish a little bit more because I do everything in Spanish here. And then like straight the first day I started with 4 weeks of gynecology, which is one of the like most difficult asignaturas, like how do you say?
I don't know what asignatura in English is.
Of the like hardest especialidades, specialties like you can do here. And like it's not like it's the rotation is really hard because it consists of classes, of exams, and of the rotation we have to do. And like I started with the rotation, and the rotation is one of the toughest ones. So I had to do every 4th night a night shift, and then like we stayed the whole morning in the hospital, and like you really have to do something. Like in Germany, you're more like your part is the learning part, the studying part, the watching part, like the professor explaining you things, and here they just give you your patient. And like, for example, I started at the toco like, which is the labor, like where the women give birth, and they just tell you, okay, this is your patient, and you're responsible for the patient until the baby's coming out, literally. Like, so, like until you see the head of the baby.
Were you completely alone then, or?
Kind of. They're like, I think, how many beds? Let's say 15 beds, 15 women. And there were like 3 residents, like 3 people, like 3 doctors. And then there were us students. And like every student of us had 1 patient.
And were you kind of overwhelmed by this task?
Yes, definitely. But like because I already did internships abroad, so I did one in Ghana in Africa and one in La Paz in Bolivia.
Oh, didn't know that with Ghana, to be honest.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I kind of, I already know that feeling that you're just like, they put you into that situation and you have to learn to swim. And yes, so I don't know. The first days were so crazy, and it's not only that you have like the responsibility for the person or for your patient, but then you also have to do all the paperwork, and that's actually the worst thing. Like a lot of people like don't see how much paperwork doctors have to do, for example. And if there's a woman like giving birth, actually the easiest part for me was being with the patient and looking after the patient. And then after that, you have to do all the written, like you have to make the postparto, then you have to do the indicaciones, like what medicaments does your patient get and everything. But
is it that much? Because I cannot imagine that it's that much, to be honest.
It's really, really, really a lot. And like I did a lot of stuff I actually don't know nothing about. And they were just like, really. Yeah, I know that's why I'm happy or I hope, fingers crossed, that I don't have to go to the hospital here or to a public hospital. I was at a public hospital here. I think in the private sector it's better. But yes, and there's no one teaching you, and that's what I was complaining about as well. Because, for example, I never did suturas. Like I never, how do you say? Like if you're giving birth, you cut the perineum. You cut.
Okay,
like
I guess everybody can imagine that.
and then you have to close it.
Yeah.
How do you say it in
the
English?
belly button, or what?
No. Like I mean, if you have a cut, and then you go to the doctor, then they have to.
Yeah, to sew it.
Sue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sue.
Yeah.
I guess sew. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Definitely.
And then, like for example, there was one situation, like it was actually my first giving birth to a person, like to a baby, and then like the resident just left. And then I was there, the baby was there, and then the placenta came out, and then I had to do everything. And it's like in Germany, they teach you how to do things, and here they just put you into the situation and they tell you, yeah, you have seen it like 10 times before, so now you should be able to do it.
So you had to do it like on your own without any help in the first case?
Like I was waiting for the resident to come back, but students here do it like that. But I just don't felt comfortable because I don't want to do things I don't know nothing about.
Fuck my
and here,
life.
That's here how the people like learn doing it, like learning by doing.
But do the patients know that you actually don't know what you're doing, or that you didn't do it before, or do they actually give a fuck?
Yeah, I mean, maybe in that situation they don't give a fuck because they just gave birth to a child. I think like after that you're just like laying down there and not thinking about it, or you're being so happy like with your baby and everything. But I think they know, like also in the part before they give birth to the baby, I think they might notice that you're not knowing totally what you're doing. Yeah, really. I remember the first day, for example, we there's this thing. How do you say? Like you can detect the heartbeat of the baby, and like usually the head is like abajo. The head is here. Okay, if you listen to it, you can like the head of the baby is down and the back is on the left side. So you have to put the ultrasound to the left, and I didn't know that, so I was just like searching here, like I don't know, under the breast for the heartbeat of the baby, which is like it's the wrong part of the body where the heartbeat where you can detect it, and I was like 10 minutes like searching for it, and then there came one doctor and like was telling you like, are you stupid, or why are you like looking here for the heartbeat? It's not just like the other side on the that was funny, but that's like how you learn things. Try and error.
But what would you suggest then to change here, like in your case, when you're like an exchange student or like just starting to work in a public hospital without previous experiences? Like, what would you recommend to do better then?
Well,
is it that easy to answer?
Yes, I think like the easy thing that you could change is like that they teach you how to do it, like that they take that they take time, the residents or the doctors, to teach you how to do it. And sometimes they do it and sometimes they don't give a fuck about you. It really depends on the doctor you're staying with. And for example, I did one surgery and I could do the sewing after, and she really taught me how to do it. And sometimes they just leave and they do it on your own. And that's like one thing that they teach you, and then you do it with observation, and then the next time you do it on your own. That's one thing you could change, for example.
Okay.
But like the thing is, and that's why gynecology is so important here, that after the studying, the people have to do how do you say? They have to work 1 year in a basic hospital. Like many of them have to go somewhere in the middle of nowhere and to work there at the hospital. So they do the basic stuff. Like there are people coming with diarrhea, and then there are a lot of pregnant women coming. So they have to know what to do with the pregnant women. So that's probably like the easiest thing, is like really learning by doing it, and like with try and error, because they're not like, the doctors are so stressed out, and like sometimes they don't have the time to teach you. So, but the people, like the students, have to learn, because when they do their like social year, they have to know it.
But for example, like if you're doing it, like learning by doing, and let's imagine it's the first time, and suddenly something would go wrong. Does this happen, or do you know?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But then, I mean, at least there's the doctor you can call.
Okay, so, but he comes like 5 minutes after or 10 minutes after?
Yeah, but there is at least like another person who has more experience than you that can solve the problem. And like when the students go for their como servicio social, they don't have anyone. They're all on their own. They're by their own. So they have to do it. And they have to like deal with the consequences. And like if they're studying and like having some doctors around, there's still someone they can ask, or they can, there's someone who can help.
That's hard though. Man, that's kind of, I mean, I don't know if it's that hard, but like I would say playing with the life of a stranger sometimes. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, like I didn't feel comfortable like during the whole time.
I mean, whoa. Okay. That's like something to think about, man.
No, there are a lot of stupid things going on here in the hospitals. Like, for example, there are a lot more people studying medicine that they're actually working, or how do you say? Like, there are more people applying for doing their specialty than there are places. For example,
Okay, so
in Monterrey, you have like 3,000 spots for people to enter to do their residence, and then there are 10,000 students applying for it.
in the end, so we got 7,000 too much. But it's not like their fault, it's like a fault like of the city, because I guess you always need like this infrastructure or like more hospitals or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
So the more you have, the more doctors you have, if that much are actually applying. So the more you could care genuinely about your patient, I guess. I don't know.
Definitely. I don't get it. Like, really, the first 2 weeks I was after the rotation, like we always had to go for 40 minutes from San Pedro to go to the hospital by car, and I was always asking the driver. Like, it was most of the time a medical student, and I think they got I annoyed them a little bit because I was asking so many questions. Like, why is it like this, and why is it like that, and why don't you do it like this? And they were like, third world country. That was the answer of everything. Like, Man. Welcome to Mexico.
But it's gonna get better for sure, because we got that ambitious persons like here around the world, you for example as well.
I hope.
Right? Maybe you're gonna change something, because I mean, come on, if you're experiencing something like that, or like in Ghana or in La Paz or in in Bolivia, like, wait, what do you actually want to do then? Like, when you come back, do you want to be a doctor, like in gynecology or whatever? Like, what is your aim?
I don't know which specialty I will enter in. Like, I like surgery, and I like cutting.
I like surgery. Okay, nice. I mean, that's typical medicine student answer, I guess. But for me, it's like completely weird.
It's really funny because I like a lot of people I meet. They want to do internal medicine, which for me is like totally boring because you don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, you do like really important work, but for me, it's just not attractive.
Mm-hmm.
But yes. I want to do a surgical thing, and then like that. And one thing why I'm like actually also doing all this abroad stuff is that I really want to do. Now I really don't know the English word, like Ärzte ohne Grenzen.
Doctors Without Borders, or boundaries, I guess borders, right?
Borders. I don't know.
So you want to do that like
That's like kind of my dream. Like, I think you always have to see how it fits in your life, because I think you cannot really plan things like that, because there are coming up some things you cannot influence. And I want to do it like for 4 years or something, and I think everything has to like come together really well that this will happen. But like, I really would like to do something like that later.
So like, if I understood that correctly, like Doctors Without Borders is like working as a doctor at some places where maybe a lot of refugees are, right?
For example,
like,
yes.
So like in places where just in places with extreme conditions, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Like
there is a lack of, like, if you go in the countryside of third world countries, there's a lack of really the most basic things you can imagine.
Yeah.
I think you already can do a lot, like in educating people, like about health and about health care, and how they have to manage the most basic things like washing hands, or like hygiene in general. There's such a huge lack of things.
For example, when you were in Ghana, how long have you been there?
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yes.
And how old were you then? Back then?
It was 2 years ago, 22.
22. What was the most impressive thing when you were there?
There were three. Three things.
Yeah.
The first thing was when we did a C-section and the baby was dead and they didn't know, and like if you're dead, or I don't know if it's only with kids, but you have like you see it on the skin.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're already dead for some days, you get some you see it on the skin because there's some exanthemes. Exantheme. I don't know how to say it in English. And this child had that, so we knew that it was already dead for 3 days. And
Wow.
I'm really like asking, how can that happen? Like, how could nobody like detect that? Why did nobody detect that after it?
Whoa.
No, before us doing the C-section. Like, nobody know it. And for example, like I came there with a friend, and like one really cool thing was that we could do a C-section on our own. So I did one and my friend did one, and my friend actually was supposed to do that one. That would have been her first C-section in her whole life. And she was so disappointed because they didn't had enough clothes, like sterile clothes. So that's why she couldn't do it. And she was so sad and so mad that she couldn't do the C-section. And then after the C-section, she told, like, we all said, it's like, what luck that you didn't do that, because that would have been a really, really bad experience.
Wow.
Yeah, that was...
Man, imagine experiencing something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you experienced it in a way.
Yeah.
Because you were there. Oi.
Yes, and like the other thing is that we did a abduction, like
abduction,
I guess, yeah. And it was like a 19-year-old boy, like, I don't know, really healthy looking, like he was dead, but like they didn't know why he died, so we made an abduction. And you don't want to know how the smell was. It was just like disgusting, and like the first 10 minutes I just had to concentrate that I don't have to throw up, and it was, and I don't know, it's I'm sure it sounds cruel for everyone who's not studying medicine, but like you really literally open the body and you like watch everything.
Wow.
And it was really crazy. And then they have a house full of dead people, and I really don't know why they put them there. I think maybe like until the family has enough money to do the funeral, because in Ghana, if you do a funeral, it's like a 3 days thing. It's like a big party, and I think like the first day you're trauern. How do you say your
what is, guys, ladies and gentlemen, listeners and watchers, what is trauern in English?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you just
being sad. No, it's not. I think it's actually a word we should know.
I don't know. So like if you're being sad out of respect for somebody who already died.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Further.
But that's
okay, yeah.
That's
so?
like one day, and then I think the second day is like the funeral and everything, and then the third day you celebrate life.
That's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Like
I like
because death in general is the most normal thing ever.
Yes, it's totally natural.
It belongs to it belongs to life.
Yeah.
Like everything else. This kind of perception is good in my opinion. Like I don't know if you should do this like for 3 days or something, but just if somebody dies, to perceive it like as a positive thing. That, I mean, of course, there are always cases where somebody's dying cruelly or whatever, like, or too young and everything, but still.
That's part of life.
It's part of life, and the only thing that we could do is like to accept it, right?
Death is one of the most natural things, actually.
What?
Death, yeah.
Definitely. Huh. But for you, because of course you're dealing with a lot of diseases, sometimes with death as well, and here and there. So a lot of what a normal human being would consider as negative, right? How are you maintaining then your positive side of life? Like, how do you, or is it like actually, not that special?
No, that's what I learned from being abroad. Like really the people I've seen being the most happiest were like in the poorest parts of the world I've been so far. Like people being happy, living day by day, and it's like they're not worrying about what's happening tomorrow because they don't know what will happen tomorrow. They cannot influence it. Like they don't have really that much money, but it's not about the money, and like the people, that's really the most positive thing. Like the most positive people I've seen were people where you would consider that it's really like they're living in negative circumstances and everything. And that was the same like in Ghana. Like people are happy and they're like they're not worrying because there are too many things to worry about maybe, and that's why yeah, it's, I don't know if it sounds kind of controversial, but
maybe a little bit, but
yeah, they have just another side of a view of living. Like we're worrying about what will happen in 2 years, and I think like they would never think so far. Because in
the end, I mean, neither me or you know what is going to happen tomorrow, so it's kind of logical.
Yeah.
But this leads me actually to my next question, or like to the next subtopic. I would say I was attending with Nathalie actually twice, but the teacher just appeared once. A class. It's called Tanatología. Yeah. It was one of the most interesting things that I ever heard about, to be honest. It's like how can I say it? The science of death, right? More or less like that. Yes. So how should you deal with death? What is your point of view regarding this topic? How should you deal with patients, with relatives of patients regarding death? And man, what did you learn about this?
That's a tough question. What did I learn about that? Like we were talking about before, or what I said before, is that just like death is one of the most natural things that are happening on Earth. Yeah. And it's like, it's kind of the circulation here and on Earth, and of, it's just happening. Like no one can avoid it, or every one of us will die. And I don't know, I think like everyone should consider their own way how to deal with it. And I think one other thing I learned is that there's no right or wrong. Like there are no right or wrong feelings about death, like apart from maybe being too afraid of death, but it's also natural because you don't know what will happen after that. And also it was really interesting to see how people deal with death, and how like what people imagine what will happen after, and like what's the sense of us being here on Earth, and like you just start thinking about that. And it's really interesting to have some input what other people think who had to deal, or who had to be confronted, or who were confronted with death and dying soon.
So like in a sense of near-death experiences as well, right?
What?
In a sense of near-death experiences as well.
Yeah, near-death, and like people who knew like that they will die. Like for example, we were watching a documentary about people with cancer, like who were told that they will die like in the next 2 or 3 years, or maybe even less, like some month, or like, I mean, you can never tell, but and how they deal with that diagnosis.
And how did they deal with it? Or like at least the ones that you've seen it? Like in this documentary? Most
of the people are trying to find a sense in their, like, what's the sense of them being on Earth? So why am I here? And what is my
purpose?
What is my purpose? Yeah. And it's quite interesting how everyone finds the purpose actually. Like there's always some reason. You can find 100 of reasons why you're on Earth, and what you did and what you can change, or I don't know.
That's so dope. I mean, I know that a lot of people are perceiving this kind of questions. What's my purpose? Like is a little bit hippie-ish, I would say, or like, man, that's too spiritual. But in the end, it's like the best thing you could ever ask yourself. What's my purpose? How can I contribute, like, to make the world a better world and whatever? Like, I mean, of course, nobody have to make the world a better world, but actually, you have to.
And everyone can influence something or someone. For example, the woman I was talking about, we were watching the documentary. she considered her purpose on life as like she found the love of her life. That's so cliche, I know, but that's like, I don't know. She got asked, or she asked herself, like, if that, like, people ask why am I the one being sick?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why hit it me, like, and not another person? And she said, yeah, if I would have decided whether I would have found the love of my life and getting sick, or being healthy and not finding the love of my life, she would always choose the life she has had. And what was your question?
No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter in that case.
Okay.
Power is love. Love is power.
Yes.
Guys,
and
that's
like,
the message.
and like to teach people to like enjoy your life and enjoy the moments, the beautiful moments you have with your friends, with your family, and like not worrying too much about it, or not complaining too much about things you cannot change, for example.
Are you
living the moment?
Are you familiar with this pyramid of human needs of Maslow? No? So like Maslow was like a psychologist who actually investigated not sick people or people with diseases. He considered people, he investigated successful people. Mm-hmm. And so on the basis of this, he tried to figure out what are actually the human needs. Like at first you get the physiological needs, so breath or air in general, food, water, warmth, like the basic needs that you need to survive.
Yeah.
For sure, Tim. Sorry. Then the second thing are the safety needs, like having a family, like in a sense, like to maintain the basic physiological needs on the long term, the safety needs. So then you got like, what is that in English? Like needs of belonging, like having friends as well, getting relationships, and then the fourth stage are individual needs, so getting appreciated for something that you did, kind of having a status as well, like to be more or less admired as well, like just to, let's say having positive attention of others, like that you get appreciated in the end. And then you got self-actualization, like to fulfill your potential. And that's actually something that a lot of people from the Western countries are seeking for, like to fulfill their potential. But it's not wrong, like not at all. And this psychologist, Abraham Maslow, defined one last stage, like 1 year before he died, because he was kind of sick and everything, transcendence. So the hope that there is life after death. And that's actually everybody is thinking, like, or what I was reading and hearing about it, that the few moments or hours or weeks or months before you die, or before you know that you're gonna die, you're like thinking about this thing, and you're having this hope or this need that life is gonna maintain after death as well.
Yeah. And
that's kind of interesting. And to be honest, I forgot what I actually wanted to say with that. How did we come to this pyramid of basic needs? Blah, blah, blah.
Tanatología. Our purpose on life.
Purpose. Okay, I kind of lost myself, to be honest, but
yeah, I know that.
Doesn't matter. I'm always enjoying these conversations with you, so
but it's definitely like that. I think I think, for example, I don't believe in a life after death, but I would love to believe in something like that. And I think like we just cannot, people in general cannot imagine just like life to end. Like, I mean, we're just nothing in the history of the world, for example. And I think that everyone is putting too much importance into like that. Like, I think that everyone thinks that he or she is more important than he or she actually is. And we cannot, like, that's also why we have to ask ourselves, what is our purpose on life? Because we have to have a purpose on life, because because we're important. Everyone is important, definitely. And that's why I think also a lot of people have a problem with just like the idea of not existing anymore.
What is your purpose then?
You're asking me some really difficult questions.
I mean, you've been dealing with these questions, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be nice if I would have come up with an answer. Like I'm planning to live like a long life, so I hope there will come up. What is my purpose so far? My purpose so far is to get to know the world. And to I don't know, to make other people traveling and like being more open-minded and not judging and like letting people be how they are. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I'm trying to
be how you are.
Yeah,
like to be the way you are.
Yes, and like to like always to respect other people and to like not judging them for who they are. Like that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I'm like. I don't try to teach to others or anything like that, but like making other people think or like rethink their judging people, like that they rethink them judging other people, because there's always a reason why a person is like he or she is.
Yep.
And that's what I'm. Yeah. That's why I'm traveling. That's why I like talking to people, and why, yes, I think that's a really, really big problem here. And that's one, I don't know if you can like say that it's a purpose, but it's, yeah.
It doesn't matter how you define it, like if you're purpose, whatever, blah, blah, sense of life,
But it's
define
really,
it the way you want.
It's really nice because there are a lot, for example, my family is always super interested into my journeys, and I really appreciate that. And for example, there's like an international day in my university, and for example, the last semester they invited me to make a presentation about my like internships abroad, and there were like a lot of people coming, and it's really nice to tell what my experience was and to share it with them, and that's nice. And also my family, like they're also really interested, and when I come back I always like prepare a presentation for them, like with pictures and videos and everything, and that's nice, like that there are people being interested in what I do, and yeah, just to tell them.
But like the first time that you went abroad was in Bolivia or Ghana, or like was it
in
a complete
Peru.
something in Peru?
Yeah, like like abroad in Peru. Like I went before when I was 13. I went for 6 weeks to New York by myself.
With 13 years?
Yes.
Okay.
On a summer school.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, something like that. Okay.
But that was, I think that was like the beginning of me not being afraid going by myself.
The sooner you start, the more you want to do something like this.
Yeah, and you get like, I think you get a lot of confidence that you can do it.
I guess like that's what I could say a little bit out of my personal experience. I was always considering myself as open-minded when I was like growing up in my little city called Salzburg, and then I moved to an even smaller city called Kufstein. And then I realized,
Kufstein.
And then I realized, fuck my life, I'm not that open-minded like the other 70% who are living there or studying there. Or like, whoa, that was broadening my horizon, you know?
Yeah.
And then after that, I got used to it. Okay, broadening my horizon.
Yes.
And then I came to Colombia. Whoa, broadening horizon once again. Then to another country. Whoa, once again. And it happens all the time. I guess it's a little bit inflicted with the fact that you're leaving your comfort zone all the time. Because, I mean, of course, we don't, like, the human brain is not programmed for, like, executing as much as possible. The human brain wants to do things as efficient as possible and with less energy as possible, right? And leaving your comfort zone is like actually fighting against your mind as well a little bit.
And you're always asking yourself, why am I doing this?
But if you're doing this,
you learn.
You're doing a good thing, and you're learning about it. And
yeah, and I think like what you say. I think you will never be 100% open-minded.
Never.
That's
nothing.
That's maybe what you learn during like getting out of your comfort zone, because you will never get that many times out of your comfort zone that you will really be like 100% open-minded. And I think that's what you learn, that you never will know everything. You will never like be 100% open-minded, but you like every time a little bit more.
For sure. I mean, we talked about it once. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
And it is like, of course, you could be like 90% open-minded, but then you're still 10% close-minded as well. Like, you can't know what's happiness all about when you didn't experience sadness as well. So you have to know both sides. And in that case, yeah. Man,
we are rushing again through the most important questions of life.
A little bit philosophical stuff, but doesn't matter. I don't care. For everybody who's watching this or listening to that, just question yourself a little bit. What is your purpose of life? Or I don't know or your meaning in In my opinion, it's just living, but living and contributing and loving sounds so hippie-ish, but it is. Like, it is. For real. Like,
peace.
I mean, that's it. If you want to add some last words, say.
Oh, last words.
Pew, pew, pew.
No, thanks for this interview. I was like talking, like, yeah, I think like always when we started talking about things like that, we could talk like, I think 3 hours more. For sure. But what I actually love is your sleepy mode sometimes, like when you're talking, but I'm enjoying, for real. My sleepy mode.
I don't know. It's like, it's because you're so calm all the time and a little bit silent as well. And it's like,
yeah.
No, but I'm enjoying it. I could just like lie here on the ground and like listen to you like 3 hours.
That's good.
Man, that was Natalie Healer and Johan Gruban from Monterrey, San Pedro. Smoggy, still smoggy and foggy,
yeah, getting
and cloudy.
Smoggier and smoggier.
Live your life. Woo.